Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon where you are in the world, and welcome to today's DevOps.com webinar. I'm Charlene O'Hanlon, moderator for today's event, and I welcome you. As always, we have a great event on tap, but before we get started, we do have a few housekeeping items we need to go over. First of all, today's event is being recorded, so if you miss any or all of the event, you will have the opportunity to access it later on. Following today's webinar, we will be sending out an email that contains a link to access the webinar on demand. And the webinar is also going to be living on the DevOps.com website. In addition, we are taking questions from the audience. So if at any time during today's presentation you have a question for our speaker, please don't wait, don't hesitate. Just use your GoToWebinar control panel and submit your question, and we'll try to get to as many as we can near the end of today's webinar. We also have 3 polling questions coming up during the webinar, so hopefully we can get everybody engaged in those. And at the end of today's webinar, we will be doing a drawing for 4 $25 Amazon gift cards. So please stick around. Hopefully you'll be one of our 4 lucky winners. All right, with that, let's go ahead and kick off today's webinar, which is Shift Left with Nginx Layer 7 Security. Our speaker today is Giri Rajawat, who is Senior Solution Engineer at Nginx. Giri, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks a lot, Charlene.
Great.
And welcome you all.
All right, I'm gonna just put myself on mute and let you get right to your presentation.
Thanks again. So whenever I go and talk to the developer team about the security, and they point me towards always the SecOps team, the network team. And this is something which is very common when we go and talk to different teams for the security. It's always an afterthought. Once they develop their application, then the security will be taken care. And most of the time there are a lot of loops, like something which they put onto the production, it won't work, and then they have to come back again. They have to rely on some of the DAST and SAST tools, but there's no concept of continuous security for their application. So developers are completely dependent upon the NetOps, the SecOps team over the guidelines of how they can make their application secure. To break that barrier, and a lot of new technologies which are around today, DevSecOps is something which is emerging a lot after DevOps, and everybody try to put it as a continuous process, not an eventual destination. It should be continuous all the time. Again, I would like to thank everyone. I'm Giriraj, I'm Solution Architect at Nginx, and today we are going to talk about how Nginx will help you to shift left, how we are enabling developer, how we are empowering developer so that security will be taken care in very early stage. A brief history about Nginx. It all started in 2003 OSA. It solves a very peculiar problem of that time, NK problem, wherein if you have a concurrent 10,000 connection on any server, mostly on the Apache used at that point of time, so it start breaking, it start degrading the performance. So it's all this whole idea started on that, and then Nginx OSS released in 2003. Nginx Inc., which is an enterprise offering of Nginx to the enterprise customer so that they can run their application in the enterprise with the proper support from Nginx Inc., founded in 2011. It was first released in 2013, almost 7 years from now. Last year, or I would say in 2019, we got acquired by F5. Again, they are one of the Gartner leaders in perimeter security, almost having 1,500 and more commercial customer today, which wherein like Nginx is gonna used heavily. And couple of months before, Nginx surpassed all the web server, and it is one of the, if you go and just search for which is the most common and most popular web server today, it's Nginx. Nginx serving almost 450 million websites today. It's a recommendable and it's a commendable figure. But how we are getting these into an insight, some sort of a tangible output which we can, it gives us also a lot of visibility about the kind of applications, the kind of patterns which are going around, and that's help us to evolve. So Nginx today is not only the web server, it's not only the reverse proxy, it's evolved a lot. And Nginx Plus now can be used in a different paradigm. It is the most common API gateway as a data plane item today. Our 40% customer use Nginx Plus as an API gateway. Control plane is something very essential today in a distributed world where applications are on different places. They are distributed, they are microservices, so some sort of management layer need to be put for managing Nginx Plus, which is working as a data plane layer. So we have a controller. It comes up with a couple of modules which talks about APIM, API management, ADC as a component wherein it manage the ADC component of Nginx. Plus also we have improved it onto the security and make it one more module added in the family, which is an API security and application security controlled and managed by Nginx controller. So this is a single pane of window through which you can manage your whole Nginx environment, whether Nginx is working and running as a ADC component, API gateway, or the security WAF and a lot of other things. On the other side, we have Nginx Unit, which is an application server. And today we are going to emphasize more onto AppProtect, the layer 7 firewall, lightweight, performatic from Nginx. And it is getting a lot of features which are inherited from F5 WAF solution, which is running from almost 25 years now and giving security at the edge. But the core goal of Nginx AppProtect is to make it closer to applications, wherein more and more developers are working, they're making their application testing inside the sandbox environment. So all the policies, all the protection will be tested before moving into the production. We also working a lot for the Kubernetes community, and you see after, like, there are only 3 projects which are running as an ingress controller for Kubernetes. Nginx is one of the prominent. So Nginx can also be used as a Kubernetes ingress controller completely managed by Kubernetes API. We came up a couple of months before with our own service mesh. And this is also to empower the microservice environment, the Kubernetes and cloud native environment. So it is not only web server today, it is evolved. We have a lot of different solutions, and I would recommend, if you can want to go deep dive onto any of the product line, you can go and refer our documentation on nginx.com. There was a myth, and even this is for me also, at one point of time, I thought it's just a reverse proxy or a web server. But Nginx, in a nutshell, is just like a Swiss knife. It has a lot of use cases. The same Nginx, which is a very small software, limited to MBs, can be used as a robust load balancer, content cache for improving the performance of your application, web server, which is a very common use, API gateway for your APIs which are running on a different environment. It could be a monolithic, it could be your Kubernetes running inside a container or microservices. Security control we have implemented by using NAP, which is Nginx AppProtect. We have monitoring, we have high availability and Kubernetes ingress controller and so forth. So one software, many use cases, and this helps a lot customers to reduce down their tool sprawls. For many capabilities, they have to go and look for a different vendor. If something they can get it from a single vendor, that make their life easy, that they make their life easy for the developers, the operators, and so forth. So how Nginx today contributing towards the security? As we all know, every organization today going through a changes, transforming their application, moving towards the cloud. So-called, we called it as a digital transformation. But it comes with a cost. The application became more and more complex. Monolithic was simple enough. Microservices are not, but they have the business advantages. The agility comes up. However, in the race of the digital transformation, everybody left security. And that's why the concept of shifting left, try as early as possible to make your application secure so that they can be delivered inside the production environment without any fear. So the core goal of Nginx AppProtect is to put security inside the development lifecycle. How it could be possible? If the solution is more and more inclined towards the developer tools. It can be easily gel up with CI/CD. It should be act as a code. It could be put on any version control system wherein you have the versions of different security policies as a code, and simplifying the policy management, automation. So whole idea is to make it more inclined towards the development, putting a lot of automation and the visibility, which is lacking a lot. So visibility is something wherein you get an insight about how your security policies are performing, how you can put a different mode wherein you can put it in a transparent mode just to see the outcome, or you just wanted to enforce the security policy to block the traffic. So fundamental is to make it security or the security policies as a code so that it can be easily inserted into the development lifecycle. So Nginx AppProtect can be sit along with Nginx Plus. It is a dynamic module. With a toggle of a button, you can switch on and off the security. Though it can be deployed as a standalone solution, but yes, if you have Nginx Plus running for any other use cases, like inside a Kubernetes ingress controller or API gateway, you simply enable the security feature and protect your application. High performing, we have benchmarked it and we have found it is way ahead in the security and the performance. It is not putting a guard against your application performance. It is just like a rail, guard rails, which is parallelly working along with your application. We came up from ModSec, which is an open source. We make it more trusted. So we are getting the trusted signature from the F5 labs. So the false positive possibilities are very less, or it is almost minimal. So without any fear, you can simply enforce and put your policy in the block mode for your application. Better tested signatures, which comes through our F5 lab. We have a dedicated team who look onto all the new vulnerabilities which are coming up in the market, the kind of attacks, coordinated attacks, our recent SolarWind, a lot of those attacks. So then these signatures are created based on those patterns and pushed to AppProtect. CI/CD friendly, having said that, you can simply integrate the complete flow, maintaining the policy, deploying the new image, so that you will get a rapid feedback loop for security remediation as per the design of the modern infrastructure. Declarative policies and the security statistics can be forwarded to different third-party solution as well. So it is completely integrated completely friendly with other solution as well, and backed by the F5 support. No doubt on that, as it's an enterprise solution, which is based on Nginx Plus. So where you can put this in your environment? At the edge to protect your north-south traffic, vertical traffic, or inside your Kubernetes cluster wherein you have ingress controller running, or along with an API gateway, or simply wherein Nginx Plus is running. So the purpose for this is Nginx Plus. It runs on top of an Nginx Plus as it's a dynamic model. I was talking to one of the customer and they say that we have a firewall F5 WAF at the edge. Why we need AppProtect? Then we have seen that more and more layered security is commonly implemented in modern infrastructure. You not need only careful about the north-south traffic or vertical traffic, which is originated from the outside of your organization or from the internet. You have to be a bit careful about your east-west traffic, how these applications are communicating to each other, how you can protect these APIs which are communicating in between themselves. To protect the east-west traffic is something very significant, which is always left over. The reason is that most of the web solution which works at the edge are bulky solutions. They are not compatible with the containers. They do not understand the developers' tools. They do not understand the developer languages. And this is one of the reasons why we are pushing security closer to applications so that developers can implement it under the guidance of the SecOps team. They define the policies and developer can implement and test it in their environment. Having said that, there are a lot of deployment model anyone can implement in their environment. It runs on top of Nginx Plus. So what exactly it comprises of? By default, it comprises of all the securities policies. One of them is OWASP top 10, which is very common for a web application. We have recently introduced OWASP top 10 for the API security also. It prevents the sensitive data loss, providing the feature of a data masking, wherein the personal information masked while transiting. So information like a credit card number, the social security number are masked by using the data guard. IP blocking, regulatory compliance. So beyond signature, it is not only based on the signature. You can do a IP blocking. If you have some geolocation wherein you have some sort of the traffic coming up, you can block it up. HTTP compliance, the protocol compliance, and a lot of other features which we have recently introduced and making it more and more equivalent to the edge and advanced web solutions. Bot mitigation is something which we have introduced. Threat campaigns are introduced. Behavior DDoS protection is something in the roadmap. More AI ML driven profiling is something in the roadmap, which will be coming in this quarter. So it is going beyond signature, getting more and more securities protection against the threat vectors which are very common today. This is one of the snippet how these policies are defined. Out of box, you get a lot of default policies, which a lot of provides protection to your application. But yes, it's a modular solution. And you can also define your own policies and apply it At the HTTP level, the server block level, the location level, it's up to you how you can define it. So a lot of default templates are available. It's pretty simple to understand and learn. It's a JSON declarative policies, which can be easily ingested by a CI/CD flow. So more onto the default security policies, you get meta character check. Having said that, HTTP protocol compliance, disallowed file system, cookies integration, JSON and XML. We are also working onto the GraphQL and gRPC payloads and sensitive parameter and data guards and evasion techniques, which are very common today. So XML external entities, denial of services, server-side command injection, and all those things which by default come as a signature sets and protect against the common vulnerabilities in the environment. We looked upon to the controller, the management plane, and as a first step, we have integrated the insight about AppProtect inside the controller. So rather than depending upon to the third-party solution like Elk, and so you can ingest the security events inside the controller and visualize it. These are some of the common dashboards which are available, which will tell you about the kind of attack, which is an application component, what kind of an attack happened, past 4 hours, and time graphs, and so forth, about the signatures, how the request has been blocked, whether it will be flagged only. So you get a lot of granular insight from the logging and event system, which is a part and embedded inside AppProtect. And those are conduited towards the management layer for visualization. So this is all about slides, and now this is the poll time, and after this we are going to jump onto the live demo and see how these things works in a real life.
All right, the first poll should be hitting your screen right now. The polling question is, choose which best describes your current application security deployment in your organization. You can select from security and perimeter and endpoints managed by network teams, 2 separate DevOps and SecOps teams that work together, a disjointed DevOps and SecOps teams that is a bottleneck, or layer 4 through 7 security managed and deployed by a security team. Go ahead and make your answer, choose your answer, and then while we're waiting for the audience to go ahead and make their selection, just a quick reminder that we are taking questions also for the question and answer period near the end of the webinar. So if you have a question, you do not have to wait for the question and answer period to submit your question. You can do that at any time. All right, let's go ahead and close out the poll. We'll take a quick look at the results. Let's see. Okay, Gary, looks like 2 separate DevOps and SecOps teams that work together is the best description of most current application security deployments in most organizations. So that does that jive with what you're seeing? I know that's something that I hear a lot when I speak with folks, that Dev and SecOps are still not as combined as they really should be.
Very true, and that's the effort which we are trying to do to make them close, to break the silos and bring them together for the common goal of an organization.
Excellent. All right, great. Well, I'll go ahead and hide these results, and we'll push out the second poll and see what we've got here. Okay, this next poll is launched now. The question is, would you say that your application security deployment is automated? This is a simple one. You can choose from yes, no, or partially. Go ahead and make your selection. And again, while we are waiting for the audience to choose its answer, Another quick reminder that today's event is being recorded. So if you miss any or all of the event, you will have the opportunity to watch the webinar on demand. As I said, we will be sending out an email that contains a link to access the webinar on demand. And in addition, the webinar will be housed on the DevOps.com website, so you can always go look for it there. All right, let's go ahead and close out this poll, and we'll take a look at the results here. Okay, how would you say, or would you say that your application security deployment is automated? Wow, and almost half of folks said that their application security deployment is partially automated. So that's interesting. I think that's indicative of the market in general. I don't think that I think that very few organizations would consider their application security deployment to be fully automated.
Great.
All right, let's go ahead and hide the results on this one, and then we'll push out the final poll. All right, final poll coming at you. Are security protocols within your organization a bottleneck to meet users' required speed of getting applications to market? Another simple one, yes or no. You can go ahead and make your selection. And just one final reminder before we take a look at the results. We're doing a drawing for 4 $25 Amazon gift cards at the end of today's webinars. So stick around. Hopefully you'll be one of the 4 lucky winners here. Let's see, we're gonna go ahead and close this one out here in just a few seconds here. Take a look at the results. All right. Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Look at that. Wow, I don't think I've ever seen a poll result that is so overwhelmingly in favor of one answer. This has got to be actually probably not much of an eye-opener for you, Gary, based on what you've heard from your customers. Yeah.
You're right.
Okay.
So that's the problem of a year. So everybody facing the same challenge. Whenever they are moving their application, security folks comes up, they put their application, go through a scan, go through a different security check, and then they nullify their efforts and send them back to make those changes in their development environment and come back again. So that's the reason. It's an afterthought. It's not proactively planned. I can see that.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and hide these results and let you get to your demo.
Thanks for the poll, and back on to the demo. So today we have a microservices, an application which is running inside a Kubernetes environment. We try to protect it by using NAP. This is about an architecture of the Arcadia application. This is a simple application, and it comprises of 4 microservices. Main application, the backend, which is a Postgres database. Then we have an API at app2 called as a money transfer, and app3, which is refer as a friend. Very common and generic today as per the modern architecture. Everything is deployed using automation and on top of Kubernetes running inside pods or container. So let me quickly deploy this application. I need to jump onto, this is the whole environment. Let me jump onto and deploy this application. So I'm deploying it on Kubernetes, exposing these applications by using Nginx resources. And this has been deployed. Let me go back and check the deployment. All right, looks good. So all these applications are deployed. Now we are going to simulate some sort of an attack on these applications. As of now, it is not protected. It is plain application without any protection. No NAP is enabled. And this is the page, the landing page of this application. Let me log in and check the functionality. So it's a stockbroking application, and I can see money transfer, invite your, refer your friend, and all the functionalities working fine. So the first attack, which is very common today, cross-site scripting, XXX, comes under top 10 OWASP. I'm gonna put some script along with my landing page and see how it responds. And it execute my script, whatever I put over here in the query format. That means there is no protection. Now I'm going to do one more attack, which is SQL injection attack. And for that, I'm going to add some user on the backend database. So let me add some user for referring a friend. Okay, so this user has been added, the email address of this user added to the backend database. Let me add a couple of more users. John is now added. One more, the last one, myself. All right, so this email sent successfully. They are added in the backend database. So I'm going to inject SQL injection over here, a query which says not equals to michael@gmail.com. That means give me the list of the email address from the backend, from the database, which is connected to this website. Give me all email addresses which are not equals to michael@gmail. Common attack, SQL injection. If I put it over here, you can see that the list of the email addresses, I'm directly fetching it from the database. That means my backend database is also not protected. So anyone who can try to attack this application can gain personal information about the application, the data of the users, and so forth. This is completely unprotected. Now time to build NAP, put it in front of this application. We are again going to resimulate the attack and see how NAP will protect it, and plus how we can gain the insight of the attacks which happen on this application. So going on to the web shell of Docker server, I'm building it in a form of a container. Let me I hope this is well visible. Before building this, let me show you how you can build it. What is the components which are placed inside the Docker file. So we are building on the base image of CentOS, and here you can see this is just a package. This is just a module which comes as a package, AppProtect. We have AppProtect signatures as a package, and we have AppProtect threat campaigns as a package. So everything we are going to install it inside the container, and then this AppProtect image will be ready. And when we use Nginx configuration, to make it in front of the application. So let me quickly build this application, AppProtect Docker image. So it has all latest and greatest signature. It has all threat campaigns and default policies along with it. The image building process has been started. It will take a minute to finish. However, you can build and install it in any other environment. It's not only the container environment. You can install it on the VM, you can install it on the bare metal. So it is completely agnostic of the underlying infrastructure. Image has been built. Let me quickly check the image. Yes, AppProtect, which is built now. Let me run the container. And you can see over here, couple of things you need to do after installing Nginx AppProtect on Nginx Plus. First of all, you have to load the module of Nginx AppProtect. Pretty simple, one line. And then you have to define the kind of policies you are putting. If by default it refer default policies, it refer the syslog server over here. I'm pushing all the event to the syslog server so that I can visualize it by the third-party tool. And this is my application URL. So I'm protecting it. So first I'm gonna reach the AppProtect and then it will proxy pass it to my backend application. Going back onto, let me close it, and this time I'm gonna Arcadia with NAP Docker. Same application, but it is now protected. Let me go back and simulate some attack. Cross-site scripting. And you can see this URL was rejected because now NAP is enabled with the default policies. And this support ID is essential because this helps you to navigate to your specific block. You have multiple blocks, you have put your policies. So this helps you to find out where exactly the block happened. And the support ID, it's a random number which is generated and assigned to the block which you have just placed for this request. Going back and simulate the SQL injection attack. Hopefully this time I'm not get the result. And you can see over here, I'm not getting response back from my database through SQL injection. That means my backend database is also protected by the default policies of AppProtect. So we have seen, we have forwarded it to the syslog, and from there we have using some default dashboards to visualize the attack. So with 3.12 controller, you can see everything inside the control plane as well, but just for making it more useful and simple over here, I'm using the third party. And you look over here, there are the two blocks which happened in the last pass. And if I go down and look more, and I get more information about this threat detected, and this will tell me the kind of threat it is. It is a non-bot category. That means it is not a bot attack, and the kind of attack along with the source, the host, and the origin of the attack. And you can see over here, It is a SQL injection. In a similar way, if we go and look onto the second attack, it shows us it was cross-site scripting. Here you can see the cross-site scripting. The signature has been seen over here, the kind of signature ID and all those. Also, we have built our Nginx AppProtect with the latest threat campaigns. So I'm going to simulate some threat attacks, the campaign attack, the coordinated attacks on this website again, and see how it responds back. So one common attack, Jakarta attack, and the Drupal campaign, and this is the header and body of that attack. I'm using Postman for throwing this attack onto an application, and you can see over here the result is blocked. In the similar way, I'm gonna send the Drupal attack, very common Drupal Ajax attack, form attack. These all are the coordinated attacks, and F5 Labs create signature for these sort of an attack and push it in the threat campaign signatures. This is also blocked. And now we can look onto the Kibana again and see the insight. So the attack now having the value of 4, and you can see over here the threat campaigns are detected, and it will give, again, this is also the second attack which we have done, threat campaign detected, and the path, the URI path, and what kind of an attack it is, because it is signature based, so we will get, it's a Drupal core remote code execution attack, and so forth. So this is about how you can place security. Now the automation, how you can automate the security, how you can deploy the security. I'm gonna quickly build my Nginx AppProtect by using some sort of an automation. We have a lot of Ansible playbooks which helps you to automate your environment. We use Jenkins, Terraforms for infrastructure provisioning, and we use the policies and everything using the Ansible. So Ansible Galaxy roles are freely available. You can go on to the Ansible Galaxy website and see Nginx Ansible playbooks for automation. It could be the deployment of an agent, it could be deployment of an app, and you find a lot of use cases and default Galaxy playbooks over there. So let me run this pipeline. So it has 4 stages, 3 stages. One, it gather the requirement. Again, it's deploy the NAP and the workaround of a DNS on the cloud environment. So this is a similar way you can put your policies on some sort of a GitHub or a GitLab, any version control management system. You can place the threat campaigns if you want to install through the mirrors which are inside your organization. You place the required RPMs, packages, and deploy the NAP. So whenever there is a new threat campaign or something updated, you can get a notification from F5 Labs that this is something new comes up, and you can redeploy or create the NAP environment quickly by using any deployment methodology. So the outcome of this playbook is to deploy NAP, configure all the default policies, and place it. Right now I'm using a VM. I'm not installing it on a container. So we have a VM. On top of that, I'm installing everything. After this installation finished, we create some custom policies and initiate a bot attack onto an application. This will take a couple of minutes. Let me jump by the time it finish. Okay, I will go back and take a closer look of CentOS app. So let me log in onto that system and define some policies. Make it a little large. And here you can see these are the default policies which comes up. By default, NAP, take a reference of it. It also has some sort of a strict policies which provide data guard and other tolerations. And you can see over here, it's pretty simple XML profiles. And we have a huge list of signatures, the policies which are published in our official documentation website under the NAP. So you can go and take a reference, the signature sets, and like you wanted to alarm it or block it. So here the enforcement, you just wanted to test it out without blocking the real-time traffic. You can test it out, get an insight, and if you think that this is something which is a real-time attack or something, then you can implement it in an enforcement tag, wherein like you can block it, make it blocked. So a lot of options are there, and I'm going to create a policy, a custom policy over here, and then we will apply that policy. So by default, bot protection is not enabled. You have to enable it, or you can define and create your own policy and apply. So trusted bot, alarm only, untrusted bot, block, malicious bot, block. Pretty simple. Policy has been created. Let me go back and quickly check. All right. So it looks all the stages are finished. And going back, now it's time to apply this policy. As of now, it is taking a reference of default policy. So back inside the configuration, and you can see over here, it is, I need to change it to my new policy. All right, change is done. Gracefully reloading Nginx Plus and AppProtect without breaking the real-time traffic. So it gracefully reload all the worker processes. Running fine. Let me simulate the bot attack now. So I'm using JMeter for this. We have a sample file which create a bot attack. So bot attack has been initiated. Going back onto the Kibana. And you can see over here, all of a sudden I'm getting a lot of bot attacks from these regions. And you can see over here, the bot client has been detected. Lot of bot client has been detected. And if I gain more insight about these, and you can find more information about. So category is untrusted bot. So those untrusted bot requests are blocked, and we can see over here more information about kind of attack. So this is about Nginx AppProtect, which will help you to shift left, putting security as a code, putting it closer to your developer tools, using CI/CD flow, doing all the automation, deploying the NAP, putting the policies, and if something comes up new, you can simply rebuild your image on the fly, implement the security to your application. Out of box, lot of default policies are available which protect your application up to 90% from the generic attack. What I heard from the customer, they're not changing anything, they are not putting any customized policy, they are simply using our default policies and their applications are well protected. But this platform is completely modular. You can change it, you can customize it, you can create your own signature and apply to your environment. So this is all about the demo, how it looks in a real-time environment, how you can simply enable everything and just click and get inside out of that. So concluding this demo over here, going back, I think we can open up for a Q&A, and if you have any questions, please guys ask. This is the right forum and opportunity. And if you want to have some more information, you can just email us and we will get back to you. Like in case you wanted to see it in your environment, you wanted to go for a trial, and you wanted to learn more about it. So definitely we are happy to collaborate with you for this effort.
All right, great. We do have about 6 minutes or so for question and answer period. So if you have a question, go ahead and use your GoToWebinar control panel and submit it. Why don't we go ahead and dive right into the questions that we have. First question here, can you recommend an application security architecture that has proven to be effective in a multi-cloud microservices setup?
Unfortunately, I'm not able to see the question, but yes, let me look onto it again. Just give me a second. Pardon me, could you please repeat it one more time?
Sure. The question is, can you recommend an application security architecture that has proven to be effective in a multi-cloud microservices setup?
Yes, you can do that. And even like when these microservices, when the cloud native environments are there, you can use AppProtect for your east-west traffic. And these are so lightweight technologies that can be gel up with your whole flow of automation. Along with it will also help the developer to understand how they can implement the policies. But this is not completely an onus of a developer to decide onto the security policy, because you have to be like work a lot with the different teams which are in the security, the CISOs and all. So the policies are formulated and then you can deploy it and test in your environment by using that. But it's always good to have a multi-cloud environment and use this as for a, like as it is, that it is completely abstracted away from the infrastructure. So if you have a cloud native application, if you have a multi-cloud application, it works well with that. That's how our customers are using it today.
Okay, all right, great. Here's another question here for you. Let's see. Do you have any recommendation for an organization that is natively in the AWS, it's content distribution area, I guess?
Okay, so all right, if I got it correctly, so we Nginx use as a content delivery. It like most of the Netflix today and any other OTT platform using Nginx for the content delivery. And Nginx Plus have a very good feature about the content cache, the adaptive bit rates, and it support a lot of protocol from Apple and Microsoft, so you can definitely look onto it. Major OTT platform are using Nginx, and if you know about the Cloudflare and all, they are also using Nginx open source for delivery of the contents.
All right, great. I think we have time for one more question here, then we'll have to close it out. Let's see. Here's one for you. What recommendations can you give to add to our DevOps tool chain to effectively mitigate CVE?
Great question, I would say. All the questions are great. And CVE is something which I personally see it not gonna stop. All right, it always be there. Once you make your code proper, you go with all dest and SaaS tool, but still you never know what comes up in the market. So DevOps tools are there which helps you. There are some tools which helps you for looking onto the CVs which are related to your operating system, some CVs which are related to your application. So WAF is CV based, like it inherit its lot of protection policies from the common vulnerabilities, but there are different tools which provide a scan of your application images, and you probably find it inside the container security modules, right, wherein they have tools like Anchor, tools like Quay, which is completely scanning your environment, whether it would be your host or it could be your container images, and give you the vulnerabilities reports and all. What WAF technologies add, because it complement with the container security. It is not replacing the container security, it is complementing it by providing the protection based on those CVEs. So these common CVEs are always be in the database, open database, it comes up over there. Then every organization, they have their different labs environment, they have their dedicated teams who work on these CVEs and create a pattern and push it in a form of a signature. So Nginx AppProtect has all the common vulnerability signature inside their data store, which is F5 Labs. So you are getting all the protection from there.
All right, great.
Okay.
Well, we are about 3 minutes to the top of the hour, so unfortunately that's all the time that we have for question and answer period. If we didn't get to your question, I apologize, but please know that the folks at Nginx and F5 will be getting a copy of all of the questions that came in, and I'm sure somebody from the organizations will be more than happy to follow up with you to get your question answered. Also want to remind the audience that today's event has been recorded, so if you missed any or all of it, or if you just want to watch it again, you'll have the opportunity to do so. Following today's webcast, we will be sending out an email that contains a link to access the webinar on demand. And the webinar is also going to be living on the DevOps.com website, so you can always go look for it there. Just go to DevOps.com/webinars, look in the on-demand section, and it should be right there waiting for you. Okay, before we close things out, I did say at the top of the hour we'd be doing a drawing for 4 $25 Amazon gift cards. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do that. Our first winner today is Dave N. Congratulations, Dave. Our second winner today is Shireen G. Congratulations, Shireen. Our third winner today is Jeremy M. Congratulations, Jeremy. And our fourth and final winner today is Kevin S. Congratulations, Kevin. We'll be following up with all 4 of you via email to get your Amazon gift card over to you. So please check your inbox. And if you don't see it there, please check your spam folder. Gary, thank you for a great presentation. Lots of interesting information. I love the demos. I'm a huge fan of the demos, so thank you, especially for doing that great demo. But great presentation overall. Thanks again.
Pleasure is all mine.
Also want to thank the audience for joining me today. This is Charlene O'Hanlon, and I am signing off. Have a great day, everybody, and please stay safe.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day.